We are on the road to Judgment Day, and we have just three more SmackDowns to go, starting with the April 29th, 2004 edition of SmackDown. Your general manager, Kurt Angle, is back. Luther Reigns makes his WWE debut, his television debut,
Believe that.
and believe that. Luther Reigns doesn't say that. That's Rodney
I
Mack.
I, I acknowledge my tribal chief, Luther Reigns.
And The Undertaker returns to television. We have a lot of very interesting stuff to
Yes,
get to. Tro, how you doing?
finally, finally, we are here. We are here to the prefaces of the whole road to.
So yeah,
finally,
well,
somebody's arrived. Hopefully, they don't make him look like a
yeah.
bitch.
Paul Bearer returns to WWE television for the first time for weekly television for the first time in over a decade. Here, he obviously returned at WrestleMania 20, but in terms of weekly
Well,
television, this has got to be close to a decade. 1998, 1999. Oh yeah, about 19. No, 2000 actually.
yeah,
He
I was
was
about to
there
say
in 2000.
exact.
Yeah, he was there. So about first time in 4 years actually. I
He was there
thought about
about
it
for
for
5 minutes, and then he said, "Goodbye, folks.
yeah.
My
So
red suit, my red suit's too nice. I have to leave now."
So I do want to, getting back to how we started the show yesterday. I have to make an amendment on the stats we put yesterday. I said that we had done 27 episodes, and yesterday's episode for this year, and yesterday's episode was the 28th. Actually, yesterday's episode was the no. I say yesterday's episode was 27. And so yeah, yesterday's episode was 27. Turns out yesterday's episode was the 28th. So we have now done 29 episodes this year. And remember, the record for episodes in a year, ever since we started this series back in 2022, we did 33 episodes in that first year. This was before Tro. But we are about to shatter that record. We're about to reach 30 potentially tomorrow. So we are going to shatter this record. There's plenty of time left. We're in the middle of July here, so there's plenty of time left. Also, in terms of view record for the Road Twos, I didn't get anything wrong. It's just yesterday's episode actually got the most views thus far for Judgment Day 04. I think yesterday's episode did like 32 views. The episode where Big Show chokeslam Kurt Angle off the ledge did 30. So yesterday's episode got beat that by two episodes. So still got plenty of time with this one. We got, including this episode, we got four more episodes. So we will see in the end. Possibly, will Judgment Day 04 be the first pay per view to lead its road to
Mhm.
in views? We will see about that. But anyway, let's get to the show here. The April 29th, 2004 episode of SmackDown, which opens with Kurt Angle returning. He is in a wheelchair and he is being rolled out to the ring by a not so familiar face. Obviously, it's familiar now. We know who it is, and I just mentioned his name, but we don't know his name just yet watching this at the time. So, this is the first time we see Kurt Angle since the Big Show attack 2 weeks ago. He gets into the ring, and he says, obviously, he gets in with help from this unfamiliar face. And once he gets in the ring, gets all set up back in his wheelchair, he says that he has seen numerous doctors over the past few weeks, and they all say that his in ring career is over.
No.
Angle is breaking down in tears as he says that. He says his knee is injured beyond repair and his internal injuries are irreversible. He says that pro wrestling is his life and now his life is all over.
And the crowd cheers.
Uh,
Uh-oh.
okay, yeah, I'll be right back
Kurt
in
Angle
two.
calling you.
No, it's not good. I'll be right back in 2 seconds. Hello?
It's calling. That's a fruit. That's just Luther Reigns. He's calling. What up, motherfucker? The phone. The phone is ringing. And that was the
My
history of Luther Reigns.
my bad. I muted you by mistake trying to mute myself. Okay, so where were we? His life is over. Pro wrestling is his life, and his life is now all over. He says
Yay!
he says despite the pain, there was no way he wasn't going to show up tonight because he needs to confirm that the fans are to blame for all this. Spoiler alert, a lot of people take blame from Kurt Angle for what happened to him on this show. We will see that throughout the night. So starting off with the fans, as we see here. He says the fans are to blame for all this. He says as soon as he came out, the fans started chanting, "You suck." He says his career is over and the fans think it's a joke. He says the fans have turned into bloodthirsty animals. And then he mentions Torrie Wilson and demands for her to come out. And they immediately hit Torrie Wilson's theme song, and Kurt Angle goes ballistic, saying, "Cut it, cut the music. We don't want no fanfare tonight." And Torrie Wilson comes out again. I've said that during the build-up to this pay-per-view so far, Torrie Wilson has been one of the MVPs, and she's continuing it here, at least up from the show where Big Show chokeslammed Angle off the ledge. And it continues here. Torrie Wilson comes out in fear. She is extremely scared at what Angle is going to do to her. And immediately she gets into the ring. Kurt Angle blames her. She walks slowly to the ring, too. Obviously selling the fact that she's in fear, not knowing what Kurt Angle's about to do. But immediately as she gets in the ring, Kurt Angle blames her for laughing at the Big Show as to why this happened. That's blame number two. The fans, now Torrie Wilson. He blames Torrie for laughing at the Big Show as to why this happened, and now he demands, as Torrie is a kind of at a turnbuckle. She's sitting over at like a turnbuckle, like a ways away from Kurt Angle. Angle demands that she walks over to him. She doesn't because she is just extremely afraid, and that's when we finally get a name to this mysterious person who's been wheeling Kurt Angle around. Angle says, "Luther, go get her." So Luther goes over, walks over to Torrie, grabs her by the arm, and drags her over to Kurt Angle. And Angle says to Torrie that because of his injuries, he can't have sex with his wife anymore. The poor guy.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Yeah, he's paralyzed from the waist down, apparently. He reminds Torrie that she has a match with Rene Dupree tonight. By the way, hilarious guide from Peacock for this episode. Playboy playmate Torrie Wilson takes on Frenchman Rene Dupree. That's literally the guide for this episode. Like, what the fuck?
Playboy playmate Torrie Wilson takes on a whole Frenchman and a dog tonight.
Well, it didn't say that, but yeah. So Kurt Angle says that her match with Rene Dupree, Torrie's match with Rene Dupree, is now no disqualification, and he tells Torrie, "Don't go anywhere because it is up next." And Angle says something that he says a few times tonight, that he will get the last laugh. I thought this was a great opener, great segment to open the show. One of the better segments on this road to open any of the Smackdowns that we have covered thus far. Kurt Angle obviously is just pissed. He's blaming everybody. He's blaming the fans. He's blaming Torrie Wilson. He's going to later in the night blame more people and more resources, I guess you would say, as to why this happened to him. And Torrie Wilson again, just in absolute fear. Luther Reigns making his television debut. Uh, Obviously, he didn't do much, but dragging
Hey, we
Torrie.
don't know his last name yet. We only know his first name.
That's true. He was
He
just
could be he's just
Luther.
Luther.
Yeah, Luther dragging Torrie Wilson over to Kurt Angle. Um, and then Kurt Angle just being a total heel. He could have easily just been like, you know what, Paul Heyman made that match with you against Rene Dupree. That doesn't need to happen. I'm not making that match. But obviously, Kurt Angle, being the heel that he is, who just got his leg broken, he's in a wheelchair, and he's blaming everybody. Instead of saying no match, it's a damn no DQ match now. I thought this was a great segment. What are your thoughts on this segment here?
Well, first on Kurt's wheelchair, they messed it up because it's actually the French. The way they have it, it looks like the French
Well,
colors, French flag.
Well, with a line that Kurt makes later in the show, it kind of makes sense. It makes a little bit of sense that he would have a French flag for his wheelchair.
Look, it is Torrie Wilson's fault. She shouldn't have been laughing at Big Show.
That's it. You're banned.
But
You're banned. No blaming Torrie Wilson.
But this is also Kurt Angle's fault too.
Okay.
Because if Kurt had just given Big Show pizza, and JBL had given him stock options.
Well, JBL promised the pizza and the stock options, so you can't blame that. It's JBL's fault, man.
Well, it's Kurt Angle's fault that the JBL was even in the position to offer that.
Yeah, true. It's Kurt Angle's fault.
This is kind of Kurt Angle's fault, but at the end of the day, it is totally Torrie Wilson's fault. She shouldn't have been laughing at poor old Big Show. Now, where is Big Show? Exactly. Growing out his hair.
Where are you? Banned. There will be no hate on Torrie Wilson on this channel.
Where's Big Show right now? He's growing out his mullet.
He
so
is.
It can be shaved off.
He is. So now we get a recap of Cafe de Rene from last week as Torrie Wilson is waiting in the ring for Rene Dupree. Rene Dupree then comes out, and this is your opening match for the show. Rene Dupree versus Torrie Wilson, no disqualification. This match gets an NA because Cena interferes about very early, extremely early into the match, so it really wasn't a match. Cena and Dupree brawl until Dupree throws Torrie Wilson in front of Cena, and Rene Dupree gets out of dodge, and obviously full and true WWE form back in this day. The very next thing we see after going to commercial break is moments ago the exact same thing you just seen, John Cena and Rene Dupree's brawl. But what do you think of Cena and Dupree's brawl here?
It doesn't make any sense how this could end in a no contest. There was no disqualification.
Technically, Michael Cole covered that. He said that Rene Dupree won. Rene Dupree won by disqualification. It didn't end in no contest.
But you can't win in a no disqualification.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you're right. It is a no disqualification.
That'd be like ending a Hell in a Cell match in a disqualification.
Yeah,
Thankfully that never happened. That'd be such a stupid idea.
Somebody on the writers team fucked up. They made a no disqualification match and then had it end in disqualification after a run.
So we have this no disqualification match, yeah, and how does it end? In disqualification. Maybe this is Vince Russo's one contribution. Like they bring him in every year for like one contribution, and this was it. So it's a swerve, bro. We say it's no disqualification.
If Russo was writing this match, it would have been a damn good match. It would not have ended.
It would have just been Rene beating up Torrie Wilson for about 10 minutes, and then it ending in Cena coming out.
No, it would have been something pretty similar to what happened, except there would be no Rene Dupree wins via disqualification. They probably I don't know. See, that's the tough thing as a writer. How the hell do you get out of that situation? Because
it's a swerve, bro. That's not actually Torrie Wilson, bro. That's your sister, bro.
Yeah, well, it's a tough thing for a writer. Judge for the right. I will say that for the writers in 2004, which obviously Vince Russo was not writing the show. He
Thank
has
God.
nothing to do with it. No, it would have been a much better. It was a good show. It would
No,
have been a much better show.
it would have been
Yes,
much
the
worse.
hell it would be.
It would have
No,
been
it was.
horrible.
It was not horrible. Well, it it was not horrible, and
It
it
was
damn
horrible.
sure wouldn't have been horrible if Russo was writing. If Russo was writing it, it would have been a damn entertaining
No, they
show.
would have been taken off TV just like WCW.
No,
Whoopsie.
no. Russo's writing has nothing to do with how WCW was
You
taken
know
off
what he
the.
would have done? He would have just booked himself as world champion again. I'm the
If
WWE
he
champion, bro.
if he did it in an entertaining fashion the way he did in WCW, then I would have
It
had
would
no
have killed the
problem.
company, and that's why.
Him
Vince
winning the
McMahon.
title did him putting a prop on himself did not
It's
kill
the
a
most
company.
important prop, though. You don't put the most important prop on
It's still a
yourself.
prop.
That'd be
It's
like
still a prop.
That'd be like Peter Jackson or Jade or Token coming out and putting the Ring of Power on themselves. Be like, "Ooh, now I have the Ring of Power."
I have no idea what the hell you're even talking about, but Ring of Power. I have no idea
You're
what
not
that
a
is.
nerd.
I don't know, but putting a prop on yourself,
Not a nerd.
putting a prop on yourself, having a finger poke. Oh my gosh, they poked it. He poked his finger. Oh, or he poked him. He poked him. Oh my gosh, that didn't
Well,
end WCW. None of that shit ended WCW.
and like
WCW ended.
what Tony Schiavone or there's Tony Schiavone saying. So by the way, they're putting Mick Foley over on that other show, so stop watching that shit.
That
Oh,
was that was dumb. But Vince Russo wasn't writing back then. That was Eric Bischoff who told Tony Schiavone to say that.
but Eric Bischoff was such a creative genius because he single-handedly beat WWE for 83 weeks.
I think that Eric Bischoff absolutely is a
He's a
creative
total
genius.
creative genius. He just copied off
The
what
problem is
he just copied off New Japan.
you go with what works. You go with what works.
He copied off New Japan and said, "Hey, how about we just make the New World Order and then we just keep on adding members and members and members and members and members and kill the
That
gimmick?
that was he screwed that up.
Let's just keep on adding people
They
to this
added
faction that's supposed to be a heel
they
faction, by
added
the way."
people they added people and so much to the point where late in '99 it was like the NWO was like down to like fucking Stevie Ray and
When you can have an
Virgil.
NWOB team, that's not good.
Yeah. But NWO was still a great storyline for what it was early in '96. And Eric Bischoff deserves a ton of credit for that. The whole thing with putting a million members, I don't know why the hell they did that. That made absolutely no sense. But even that did not. That's not what killed WCW. What you write on a television show is not going to kill a company. Obviously, yes. When they had Tony Schiavone be like, which again, this not Tony's fault. This is Eric Bischoff's fault. But when Bischoff told Schiavone, obviously, when you do something that literally is telling people to go see the other company, that's a dumb move. That
That'll
helped.
put
That helped.
butts in seats.
If anything on air helped kill WCW, that was it. But guess what? Vince Russo had nothing to do with that. He was not writing
I'm
the
not saying the
show.
finger poke of doom did them in because they still had a whole ass
No,
2
I don't
years.
think. No, the finger
2
poke of
years.
doom didn't. The finger poke of doom was great. The finger
Wasn't,
poke of
but
doom. It's the same show, but that's so totally different because they actually had people interested in watching that, but then they told them go watch Mick Foley win the fucking WWE title. Mick Foley worked for them. They know that too. He even says Eric Bischoff tells Schiavone to say, remind everybody that he worked for us as Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
Don't you think if he worked for you, there's a decent amount of people watching your show who are like, oh,
he was
Mick Foley,
overconfident
I like
that he didn't think that would even that
Yeah.
surely they wouldn't. Obviously, he wasn't watching any of the project, which makes sense. Why would he? But he obviously didn't understand how fucking.
You mean not watching the other product?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, you didn't understand just how over Mankind really was.
Right.
At that time period.
But like that's one thing that really Eric Bischoff
It
got
played
a.
a part. It played a
Eric,
part in
oh yeah, telling them to go
the
watch.
death of WCW isn't just one singular thing. It's a collision of just fuck up after fuck up after fuck up after fuck up after fuck up after
They
fuck
didn't
up.
know how to run the business. That's the problem. It's not that they didn't know how to run television. They didn't know how to run the company wise, the
And it's
business wise.
WCW's death clock started at Starcade 1997.
No, I disagree with that. The clock started when AOL Time Warner
No, it didn't.
merged.
Because
That's what killed WCW in the end.
what killed it
The
was because it
merger.
wasn't viable.
Because
If it was viable, some other company would have bought it.
no, if they were around today, they'd still be. If everything they did happened today with all the cable channels around here, with all the streaming options, they'd still be around today. Nobody wanted pro wrestling back then. There was
Except for Spike and TNN literally
Spike
turned
wasn't TNN wasn't even a thing yet. Or they were. They had
yeah,
WWE though. They had WWE, yeah.
that was the thing.
Well, that's a problem. WCW is
They
not going to get a deal with TNN when they already got WWE.
Yep, WCW was dead. Burn in hell, WCW.
Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, the DQ thing. Yeah, I will admit that the
That's crazy how
whole
we got off so topic. We went into the death of WCW for a piece.
yeah, which has been done, which no pun intended has been done to death. Everybody talks about it's been done to death. But
The death
anyway,
of the NWA. Let's go.
The DQ and a no DQ match made absolutely no sense. I will agree with that. But I enjoyed the brawl with Cena and Dupree. You're setting up Judgment Day, obviously, and the announcement of Judgment Day, spoiler alert, between Cena and Dupree is coming up in a minute. But that's all the thoughts you have on
Yep.
Dupree. Okay. So again, like I said, the moments ago, they literally show exactly what they just showed, which is so funny that WWE used to do that back in the day. But I do understand it was a different time. Um, we did not have even back then. I obviously grew up at this time, so I understand why stuff like that happened. There was no DVR, or at least not a lot of people had DVR, so I kind of get it. Now we have Rene Dupree in Kurt Angle's office. Dupree is yelling, saying that Cena and Torrie are laughing at Kurt Angle right now, and things need to change around here. Angle says, Dupree, you are right, and more blame gets thrown around here for what happened. Well, technically, he says for the bloodlust of society, which again, that goes back to him blaming the fans. So he says here, Kurt Angle does, he blames rap music for the hate and the bloodlust of society. That means you can add rap music to the list of blame to go around from Kurt Angle for what happened to him. The fans, Torrie Wilson, rap music.
Big Show
And
was listening to some rap before he did it. I'm so agitated. I'm gonna kick your ass now, Kurt.
He blamed Cena for the attack from Big Show. So, fans, Torrie Wilson, rap music, John Cena. There's a lot of blame to go around as to why Kurt Angle is in a wheelchair right now. And
at least this is an 06 Kurt.
The one person who is not getting blamed is the exact person who chokeslammed him off a ledge. Go figure. Typical.
It wasn't his fault.
It's great heel work from Kurt Angle here. Blame everybody except the actual guy who did it to you.
Kurt's like, you know what? As he's laying on the ground, I kind of understand this. I'm okay. He's looking up at Big Show. Okay, that's okay.
It's like Torrie was laughing at him. Torrie was laughing at him. This is what happens when somebody laughs at you.
Fault.
Somebody has to get chokeslammed off a ledge. 20-foot ledge.
This is Torrie's fault.
So he blames Cena, and he says it makes him sick that Cena is United States champion, and he says that is going to end. Now, I said there was a reason why it made sense that Kurt Angle's wheelchair looked like it had the French flag. This is why. So he puts Rene Dupree in a U.S. title match against John Cena at Judgment Day, and he says, "I never thought I'd say this, but I will be proud to have a Frenchman as United States champion. That is your Olympic gold medal, your United States American hero, Kurt Angle, saying he'd be proud to have a Frenchman as United States champion. So maybe the wheelchair really is the French. This is a good little segment here. Kurt Angle just continuing his heel ways, continuing to throw the blame around. And, you get a little more of Rene Dupree on this show. And finally, I mean, you know it was coming. Even if you're watching this for the first time, you know that they're headed towards Cena versus Dupree for Judgment Day. We finally got that. Good little segment. Tro, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
I thought it was good. It sets up the match for Judgment Day and gets more heat on Kurt.
Right. And now we have Nunzio in the ring as the Cruiserweight title is about to be on the line. And Nunzio is challenging Chavo Guerrero. But before Chavo Guerrero can go out, the lights go out. And Undertaker's gong goes off. There's smoke. There is smoke filling the ring, and Nunzio is obviously scared out of his mind. Remember, the FBI had their run-ins with Undertaker, and while the FBI would occasionally get the one-up on Undertaker, it more often than not would not go right for the FBI. So Nunzio knows what's coming to him here, so he's getting all scared. It turns out to be a false alarm, though. And immediately after the gong stops going off, the smoke clears, Chavo's music hits, and here we go. Cruiserweight title, Chavo Guerrero Jr. taking on Nunzio with Chavo Guerrero Sr. pre-Chavo Classic in his corner, in Chavo Jr.'s corner, obviously. Chavo Jr. gets the win after interference by Chavo Sr. I didn't feel like this match was anything really all that special. I gave it 1 star. Nunzio's a very entertaining character, but at this point, going for the Cruiserweight title, the FBI has not been a thing for a whole year.
Nope.
If this match maybe take place in 2003, I think the fans would be much more, obviously be heel versus heel, but you know what I'm saying. If Nunzio would be challenging for the Cruiserweight title in 2003, I think the fans would have been much more interested. They didn't seem to have any interest here. So 1 star for me. We do have a little post-match promo, but before that, your thoughts on the match, Troy?
It's just a quick match to kill time and to set up that perhaps the Undertaker is in the building.
Right.
Maybe he's going for the Cruiserweight title.
He's gonna come out, take out Nunzio. He's like, Chavo, get your ass out here. I want that Cruiserweight title.
I can't go for Eddie, but I will go for his nephew. And Eddie's like, you know what? I just got done with a feud with Chavo. I don't really give a fuck if he's anymore.
So in the post match, Chavo grabs the mic. Well, Chavo Sr. grabs the mic, gives it to Chavo Jr. And Chavo Jr. asks, who's the greatest Cruiserweight champion of all time? And he says, Gregory Helms is not. Well, he has been. He has Hurricane. Yeah. He has been, but the character Gregory Helms has not been Cruiserweight champion yet. He then says, that's right, Dad. It is me. He says he is the greatest Cruiserweight champion of all time, but he is getting bored as he's beaten every Cruiserweight out there. He's even beaten some of them twice. So obviously he wants to know what's next. And that's when Goldberg's music hits.
Yeah, I was about to say.
He says,
who's next?
Chavo, you want to know who's next, huh? You're next. And he spears Chavo. Goldberg versus Chavo Guerrero for the Cruiserweight title at Judgment Day.
A very slimmed down Goldberg. So
Yeah, yeah.
Cruiserweight.
He didn't
They
act,
said
he didn't say what's next. I threw that in there because this
yeah.
felt like The Rock's promo. I've beaten Austin. I've beaten Triple H. I've beaten all of them. I want to know what's next for me. And then that's when Goldberg comes out. So Rock, you want to know? Yeah, it felt like that.
Chavo's like, it's weird.
Well, Chavo needed to have the
Yeah.
Chavo concert before this. Then,
Yes. They just
so
bring out Brock's mariachi band back out.
Chavo says that he's issuing a cruiserweight open challenge, an open challenge to any cruiserweight around the world. And Dave Meltzer is freaking wetting his pants as he hears this. It could be Japan. You know how Dave Meltzer's already waiting to give this match 20 million stars. It could be Japan. It could be Mexico. It could be
Well, it
the
has to
Europe.
happen in the Tokyo Dome
It
in
has
order
to
for it to count.
exactly. It could be the Europeans. It could be Iraq. He named off a whole bunch of areas. Um, he says that next week. So tomorrow, if we do a show tomorrow, I don't know if we will, but potentially tomorrow, this will be our next episode. We will be seeing Chavo Guerrero issue an open challenge. And he's saying that he's given someone a chance of a lifetime, a championship match against Chavo Guerrero Jr.
What a chance.
So this is a very interesting post-match promo here. Chavo obviously has been Cruiserweight champ for a long time here at this point. I mean, maybe not that long. He won at No Way Out, which was the first pay-per-view I ever ordered. So he beat Rey Mysterio, and he's out here saying that he's conquered pretty much every Cruiserweight. So he's issuing an open challenge, and we will find out who that open challenge is answered by next week. Tro, your thoughts on this open challenge promo by Chavo Guerrero?
I think it was good to set up something for Chavo for next week instead of just having him in another random championship match.
And ultimately for the pay-per-view. Spoiler alert.
Yes.
I agree. I thought Chavo was a great heel here. You know, talking about he's the greatest. Obviously getting his dad involved a little bit. So, Chavo and Chavo Sr. were great. And obviously, once Chavo Sr. became Chavo Classic, I feel like even he became even more entertaining than he already was. We have last Thursday, a flashback to last Thursday. Paul Heyman motivating the Dudleys, which led to them attacking RVD, and that's what leads to Rob Van Dam's music hitting. And as soon as his music hits, they pretty much go to commercial. But they come back from commercial. Michael Cole says that during the break, RVD called out the Dudleys. RVD reiterates that he is calling them out, obviously. Instead, Paul Heyman comes out. And you can't argue as to Paul Heyman being a Raw guy as to why he's on this show tonight, because they fix that here because he has a visitor's pass. And obviously for last week, I mean, again, the GM spot was open. Anybody could take it. It was given to Heyman. That's how I look at it. The GM spot was given to Heyman last week. So I don't see nothing wrong with him magically showing up. But here, if he were to just come back on this show and like be in the corner of the Dudleys, it's like, well, isn't he a Raw guy? Well, he answers that. He's got the Smackdown badge on, not the badge, the visitor's pass on. The visitor's pass actually has the SmackDown logo, and I think the actual date, April 29th, that this show aired. But anyway, Paul Heyman comes out on the ramp. He says that RVD is taking last week too personal. Van Dam was just a victim of circumstance. He says it could have been me in the ring, which is funny. It was him in the ring. They could have gone after Paul Heyman, but he says it could have been anybody in the ring, but it just happened to be Rob Van Dam. He says, Paul Heyman does, if you are calling out the Dudleys, just know that you're not going to get the corporate-owned Dudleys. you're going to get Paul Heyman's Dudleys. But suit yourself. The Dudleys music hits. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. And then RVD is attacked from behind by the Dudleys. And they jump RVD until Eddie Guerrero comes out, puts a stop to it. Obviously, the Dudleys leave after that. Um, Before we give our thoughts on that, there's a couple more segments after this. So we have Booker T interview. Josh Matthews asked Booker about what happened last week and how it pertains, how it was similar to what happened with Nunzio in the ring earlier. And Booker T says, where there's smoke, there's fire. So obviously, I'm not going to get burnt. And that's why I exited stage left last week. And Matthews asked Booker if he's concerned that if all these signs going around are coming from the Undertaker. Because, yeah, gongs going off and smoke filling the ring is clearly means that Spike Dudley is returning.
Yeah.
He says if these signs are coming from the Undertaker, Booker T says he's not afraid of the Undertaker and he'll slap the dead off the Undertaker. Now we have Paul Heyman exiting Kurt Angle's office, and the Dudleys are waiting for him as he's exiting. And Bubba Ray asks if they are getting what they wanted, to which Paul Heyman says, "You guys are with me, so you'll always get what you want." Bubba says, "Cut the crap. Are we getting what we want?" And Paul Heyman says, "All that and more." As tonight, the main event will be Eddie Guerrero versus the Dudley. Much like last week,
The Dudley.
Eddie Guerrero is taking on the Dudley. And I believe it was Devon. So, yeah, Devon asked, what about Rob Van Dam? Paul Heyman says, don't worry about Rob Van Dam because he is banned from ringside. Nobody is allowed at ringside for this main event. Yet somehow Paul Heyman was in the main event.
Not even the cameramen are allowed there.
But that's enough. We're picking we're poking holes into this show a lot so far. The no DQ match ending in a DQ. Everybody's barred from ringside except Paul Heyman is at ringside. I guess it makes sense. You know, Kurt Angle's a heel GM, so obviously he's just saying anybody on Eddie Guerrero's side is barred from ringside. I don't know. Now we get a Mordecai vignette, which did not air on Peacock. I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea why this was edited off Peacock. The only reason I know this aired was because I was reading notes of our buddy Scott's blog of Doom, and he says that he reviewed this show in 2018. So he's watching this on the network. He says we get a Mordecai vignette here, and it is not shown on the network. Makes no sense. I don't know why they didn't show that.
Well, to be fair, it was also 2018, so.
Yeah, but it's it. I just watched on Peacock. It's still not there.
Where is my Mordecai promos? WWE, come on. We need to know the lore behind this inverse Undertaker.
Yeah. So where are we now? Yeah, RVD's in ring with Douglas. I thought that was a good segment. You're obviously with this segment and the Heyman segment that follows. You're setting up the main event. I thought Booker T was a really good heel here. He says he exited stage left, but he's not scared. He'll slap the dead off the Undertaker. And then again, Heyman in exiting Angle's office. You guys are getting what you wanted and then some. I thought that was a good segment too. The Mordecai segment, the Mordecai vignette, I don't know. It didn't air on the network. Somebody needs to hit up WWE.
10 out of 10.
And why the hell is it not on the network?
He's coming.
I don't know. But your thoughts on everything here?
I thought it was all pretty good. It sets up the main event for tonight.
And then Booker
Kurt's
T.
Kurt's a heel, and it sets up the segment later for Booker T, who's apparently going to slap the dead off of the Undertaker.
Now Undertaker's alive.
He turns back to the American Badass.
Next thing you know, a bike just plants
Yeah,
right in the middle of the ring. Undertaker
just keep
just goes.
rolling. The bike comes down with Limp Bizkit. Yeah, just keep rolling, 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 and rolling. Just keep rolling, rolling, rolling.
Uh, so now we have Booker T taking on Billy Gunn.
He's a nice man.
The
He
scissors
wants to
kick.
leave the company.
The scissors kick versus the the scissors kick versus the Faymaster. And this match really wasn't all that special. I give it 1 star. Scissors kick gets the victory, and it is, and like Michael Cole, or I think it was Taz actually says, that looked just like the Faymaster. Okay, yeah, well, it's a very
That's the
similar
most
move.
electrifying move in all sports entertainment there, Cole.
Thoughts on Booker T versus Billy Gunn before we get to the post
Billy Gunn
match?
really wants to leave. Billy Gunn is like, look at what BJJ, what Billy Gunn's doing, Billy Road Dogg's doing in
Three,
TNA.
three live
Please,
crew, 3 live crew at this point.
please let me go to TNA. No, I think we're gonna have your job. Damn it.
Um, so we have after the match, the lights go out. Undertaker shows up with guess who?
Oh yes!
Now, which episode of Buffy was Paul Bearer watching before coming out here?
The season 2 finale.
That's a good one. That's actually a good one. Okay.
Oh, I was. You see, earlier in the night, I had actually finished season 1. That's why the lights flickered. I was actually going to come out then, but then I started season 2.
Paul Bearer is a
Oh,
damn quick ass watcher. If he fucking
oh, the powers of Mystic. Never
he
question
finished
my powers.
he finished season 2 in like 30 minutes. How the hell did he do that?
Undertaker came for me and said Booker T said he would slap the dead off of him. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? When the hell did Booker T come to SmackDown? I thought he was a Raw guy. He's too
And
good for SmackDown.
yeah, and like I said with yesterday in yesterday's reviews, the Booker T hating SmackDown thing is now over.
Paul Bear
Where
was like, you're too good for SmackDown. You were much better on Raw.
the Booker T hating SmackDown thing is over. They finally get into Booker T versus Undertaker. We're finally getting into that here. So Undertaker and Paul Bearer walk to the ring. Booker T is like, you know what? I just had a grueling match. Billy Gunn, yeah, it went like 3 minutes, but yeah, it was grueling. It's like the fans don't need to see this right now, so I'm gonna get up on out of here. He starts walking away before taking the urn from Paul Bearer and
No.
knocking out Undertaker with it. Undertaker would then sit up, and Booker T would head for Dodge. And
You fucking bastard. You put your fucking hands on my urn. That's where I'll keep all my Buffy DVDs and tapes.
I have all the Buffy DVDs. I don't think they could fit in an urn though.
It's the power
I've,
of the
I've,
urn. That you don't understand. That urn changes a lot over time. It can be anything. It was once melted down and turned into a necklace and worn by the Godfather.
That's true. He wasn't the Godfather yet, though.
Yeah, no, he was something.
We have Kurt Angle being wheeled backstage by Luther. Again,
Luther.
they still
I
haven't
wonder if
said
he's
his
related.
last.
I wonder if he's related to Gunther.
He's being wheeled backstage, and he says he's talking to Luther. He says Undertaker shouldn't stick his nose where it doesn't belong, and that is when Josh Matthews runs over. He must not have heard what Kurt Angle just said because he just runs over to Kurt Angle as if somebody had just gotten shot, and he's asking him if he just seen what happened. Okay, he clearly didn't hear what Kurt Angle had just said. Kurt Angle, and Matthews as he runs over is saying, Kurt, did you see what just happened? So Angle stops him and says, "Hold on a minute. You just called me Kurt. Kurt is a name I used to wrestle under, and now I can no longer do that. So now, for you and everyone else, it's Mr. Angle." To which Josh Matthews, yeah, it's kind of funny that now two members of Team Angle in the past couple of weeks have told other wrestlers, or well, and
He
other
loses
people.
his first name. He's like, "Don't call me Kurt anymore. That was my wrestling name. Call me Mr. Angle."
But yeah, this is the second time in like just a couple of weeks where a member of Team Angle has said, "You will now refer to me as Mister." But so Josh Matthews says, "Well, Mr. Angle, what are your thoughts on the whole situation with Booker T and Kurt Angle, or excuse me, Mr. Angle?"
Say it right.
Stops. Yeah, he stops Josh Matthews in his tracks and says, "Well, with what I just seen, it is obvious that Booker T isn't afraid of anyone." He says that he traded Triple H for Booker T because he feels that Booker T is the biggest superstar on this program, and his faith in Booker will be justified when Booker T faces and defeats the Undertaker at Judgment Day. So that is now two matches at Judgment Day that have been set up on this show. We already know the main event's going to be JBL versus Eddie Guerrero, but now we know three matches. Angle says he has something in common with the Undertaker. Neither have wrestled since WrestleMania, but the only difference is Angle can never wrestle again. And now we
This
get
is
to our SummerSlam 2000.
Kurt blames Undertaker.
Technically, I guess you could sort of, but
this is somehow Undertaker's fault.
And now we get to our SummerSlam 2004 review where Kurt Angle takes on Eddie Guerrero.
Now his career is over. He never had another match.
Raw rebound time, baby. Eugene cost La Resistance a match, so they want payback, and they are telling Johnny Nitro this because remember, Nitro is the lackey of Eric Bischoff at this point.
They'll never bring this up again, by the way.
Yeah, I know. So Nitro makes it feels so weird to say it like that. So Nitro makes a match. A TV show is making a match.
Well, you know what Johnny Nitro's theme was whenever he did wrestle on Raw, right?
Yeah,
it was the Nitro. It was pretty freaking crazy to hear because they even gave him like the Nitro graphics in the background as it's a little like ha 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 ha. We're gonna name this shitty wrestler after your number one show. So, you beat me for 83 weeks. I'm gonna beat him 83 weeks in a row.
So Johnny Nitro makes
83 weeks of Nitro just jobbing out. That'll teach you.
So Nitro makes a match for 2 weeks from now where Rob Conway takes on Eugene. Triple H takes a green mist from Tajiri, and he is not happy about it. He is yelling at a plant in Eric Bischoff's office.
I'm gonna kick your ass, you planty McPlant face.
No, he doesn't know that he's yelling at a plant because he's got the mist in his face. So he thinks he's yelling at Bischoff. Bischoff is over here. He's essentially yelling at a plant that's over here. So Eric Bischoff ends up making a match, Tajiri versus Triple H. Triple H wins with the pedigree.
That was Tajiri's last match, by the way, I think.
Has Backlash happened yet? April 29th.
Did he have a match?
He faced Coach. He faced Coach at Backlash. No, this was not his last match. No, because he's on Unforgiven teaming with Rhino.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he ain't done it.
I know Tajiri has his. I'm pretty sure his last match is against Triple H, but I thought it was maybe that. Yeah, but he was already released, I think, at that point.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. It could have been like part of the WrestleMania, the post WrestleMania 21 cleanup, spring cleaning.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It would have to be like a 2005 match.
Although we did just pass the anniversary of their 2005 spring cleaning, so maybe it was then. I don't know.
I remember that very well, and this was literally like around the time that I was like getting into like Lords of Pain, that website. So that was like the first big news story. Although, well, yeah, the Brock rumors was later. This was like the first big news story I had
Big
ever
ass
seen.
Maven here. I've been fired.
Yeah, Maven was a part of that spring cleaning. Where are we going here? Okay, yeah. Lita saves Matt Hardy from an attack of Kane by Kane, and in return, she gets a big kiss from Kane for her troubles.
How romantic.
Randy Orton, the legend killer, takes another legend as he spits in Harley Race's face. But
Oh,
then he had.
well, that's
Go
wrong.
ahead. No, what
No,
were
I
you
was
gonna say?
thinking about I was thinking he was Arn Anderson. I was going to say he's lucky that he didn't pull out the Glock and just shoot his
No, it's
fucking ass.
Harley. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't. Did Orton and Arn Anderson ever even have like a
I'm
during
sure
this
he
time?
interacted with because he
I
was
think
with
later. I think later, but like legacy. I mean, like around this time when the Legend Killer thing was. Yeah, I
maybe
don't
not
think.
because Flair and him were tight. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
and wherever Flair goes, Arn Anderson isn't far behind. So
Um. So, oh yeah, now because of this spitting in a legend's face, he has to deal with Mr. Benjamin. Again, like I said, the second member,
Mr. Benjamin.
Kurt Angle is the second member of Team Angle in the last couple of weeks to refer to themselves now as Mister. But
Oh
yeah,
hell,
show what?
maybe his career, maybe Benjamin's career is over. That's why he's don't call me
Oh,
Shelton anymore. My career is over. Just call me
Shel-
Mr. Benjamin.
Shelton was my wrestling name, and I can't do that no more.
He goes even worse. That was my slave name.
Oh my goodness, no.
It's like ha 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 ha. It's funny.
So Shelton Benjamin takes out Randy Orton. We get a tag team match. Flair and I believe Orton taking on Edge and Benoit. Benoit gave a big speech to Edge before this. It's like, well, tonight we're going to take out Evolution. We're going to start planting the nails in the coffin and all that. Well, Edge ends up getting the win for his team as he spears Ric Flair and pins him 1, 2, 3. Triple H does a run in afterwards. This leads to a brawl, and the brawl ends with Chris Benoit looking to hit, I believe, Triple H with a chair. Triple H moves out of the way, and Shawn Michaels eats the chair. Because
No.
remember, next week's Raw will feature Chris Benoit versus Shawn Michaels for the World Heavyweight title. One of my favorite Raw matches of all time. I remember watching that. There was a re-airing of the Raw like a week or so later. I don't know why it was re-airing, but I remember watching. I was like at my sister's house, and I remember watching that, and I was having the time of my life watching that match. It was a really fun match. One of these days, we will cover that whenever we're on the road to Bad Blood '04, which we did cover. Bad Blood '04 was actually the last pay per view we did where I came up with the idea for the road to, because I was like, we have not covered one show leading up to Vengeance '04, so why don't we do a road to? So one day we'll do a road to of Bad Blood, and we just won't cover the pay per view. We'll add the pay per view to that
The
playlist.
road to the go home show.
Yeah, the road to the go home show. Rico and Miss Jackie backstage. Rico is asking someone off camera, what do they mean they're not coming out? He says, what do you mean you're not coming out? We have a title match coming up. That is when you can hear Charlie Haas's voice, and he is saying, someone stole my wrestling trunks, so I am not coming out tonight. And that is when you can see Rico and Miss Jackie start laughing. Jackie is kind of telling Rico shh, and let's see. And Jackie reveals after telling him to shush. Jackie reveals to Rico that she has Charlie Haas's trunks, and Rico says those trunks were, and stick with me here. I'm not a fashion expert. Blase. I have no idea what that means. Again, I don't know, Trove. You're a fashion expert.
No.
Blase. Yeah, well, I have no idea what the meaning of that term, but that's what Rico tells Haas. These trunks are blase. He says he got Jackie to loan a pair of Rico's trunks to you. To which Charlie Haas says he can't come out dressed in them. He's not going to come out dressed in those tights. No Rico tights. And Rico says, well, you can always come out naked. Haas says it's not funny. And Rico says that if Haas, Charlie, you don't want me to defend the titles by myself. And he then says, I need you, Charles. And Haas says he'll meet Rico out there, but he better not make fun of him. Rico says, fabulous. And he says, we'll see you out there. Jackie and Rico start leaving, and Jackie throws Charlie Haas's trunks in the trash bin that was right next to Rico and Jackie throughout this whole segment. This was a funny segment. We will get to all the segments that were coming up on here because there's a lot of segments in a row here. Now we have WWE at Fort Hood. This is a recap of last week where they are welcoming home the fourth, and I have no idea if I'm pronouncing this right. They said it on the show. I have no idea how to pronounce this. The fourth Intertree or something. The fourth Intertree division home. They're welcoming them home. They said that there was about 1,000 plus troops who were coming home. This is obviously in the middle of the war of Iraq, so these people are allowed to come home. They interviewed during this little video package. They interviewed Shawn Michaels. They interviewed Jonathan Coachman. And then they interviewed Miss Jackie, who we literally just saw in the last segment. And during the video package, they showed Lita signing an autograph for somebody. So Lita was there, but for some reason she was not interviewed. And then we cut back into the arena where some of the soldiers who came home, like 3 or 4 of them, were in the arena, and the crowd was giving the crowd was giving him a standing ovation and chanting USA.
And then Kurt came out and said, "It's your fault that I got hurt." There, Kurt goes to the welcome home ceremony in his wheelchair. It's like, man, what you guys must have seen over there must have been pretty bad. But what I went through, much worse. I'm never gonna have sex again.
Fourth Intertree division, we can add them to the no.
It's
So
it's their fault.
So let's go all the way back now and let's give our thoughts on these segments. Booker T and Undertaker with Paul Bearer, I thought that was a great segment. Booker T just being a complete heel, saying he's been in a grueling match. It's like a 3-minute match with Billy Gunn. It's like nobody wants to see this, so he pretends like he's leaving. He hits Undertaker with the urn. Undertaker sits up. Booker gets out of dodge like a good heel. I thought that was great. Kurt Angle, Mr. Angle, with Josh Matthews. I thought that was a good little segment too. Obviously, Angle makes the match for Judgment Day between Undertaker and Booker T. Rico and Jackie with Charlie Haas. Hilarious. One of the better segments of the night. Again, I love this Rico Charlie Haas tag team. They are freaking hilarious. They have a tag team titles match, by the way, coming up next. But before we get to that, your thoughts on those 3 segments we just covered there.
Well, obviously, I love the Booker T segment because it had Paul Bearer was there. I'm surprised they didn't have Paul Bearer and the Undertaker to welcome the fourth Infantry home.
Paul Bearer's first weekly show appearance in almost 4 years.
Exactly. What was he doing for those 4 years? Watching Buffy. And watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But you want to know something, Frank? I'm going to Tampa in 2 weeks for a convention. And guess who's going to be there?
Melissa Joan Hart?
Melissa Joan Hart from Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
You lucky son of a bitch.
And I'm gonna drink, and I'll say, Melissa Joan Hart, I loved you and Buffy.
Oh
When
my god.
you're the vampire slayer, right? Oh no, what? You're the witch? I just throw burn the witch.
Are you really going to this convention?
Yeah,
Or are you just okay. Nice. You lucky
and you know
son of a
that
bitch.
there are crazy Christians who go protest outside. So
Oh
when
my
Melissa Joan
goodness.
Hart walks past them, they're gonna be like, "Witch," and she's gonna be like, "Well, you're not burn the witch." Like, well, you're not totally right. No, I just play a witch on TV.
She did a damn good job playing a witch on TV, and she looked amazing while doing
Now, if only Buffy showed up, then it'd
it. Yeah.
no.
Then I'd be even more jealous of you. Um,
What up, just like selfies, like, what up, Frank? Ah, if only Frank was here. I'm gonna tell him all the secrets of Buffy and Sabrina. But now that he's not here.
you jackass. So yeah, Booker T, Paul Bearer. Okay, the Booker T, Undertaker, Paul Bearer. How about Kurt Angle's interview with Josh Matthews?
You mean Mr. Angle?
Mr. Angle's interview with
It's your fault
Josh.
too, Frank. Now I'm just starting to realize that maybe you played a part in getting him hurt.
10-year-old, no, 11-year-old me.
Yeah, he heard about all the stinking out you did. He was like, that Frank Hudson. He was influenced by the rap music, and he's the reason why.
H Town all day, screwed up clip. You know?
Exactly. I thought all the segments were pretty fun.
Yeah.
Worked worth it.
So now we have the tag team titles on the line. Rico and Miss Jackie come out with the runway. They walk over the runway. Charlie Haas comes out by himself and totally no souls the runway. He just walks around it. Damn you, Charlie Haas. Like, sell the runway, bro. Sell the runway. Hashtag sell the runway.
Hashtag.
Uh, Rico and Charlie Haas are defending their tag titles against the Basham Brothers. And for the second week in a row, we get a very entertaining tag titles match here. Rico and Charlie Haas against, again, Rico doing his antics that, again, like I said yesterday, Tony Storm is like the female Rico nowadays, doing a lot of the stuff that he did. Um, and Rico was doing a lot of that in this match. In fact, the match ends when Rico kisses Danny Basham and Charlie Haas sneaks up and hits Danny with a German suplex. Right before the kiss, Rico tagged in Charlie Haas. So that's why Haas came in and hit the German suplex. Much like last week, after the match, Charlie Haas went and hugged Miss Jackie. And then Rico joined in, and Haas didn't want any of it. Haas jumped out of the ring after that. Again, a very fun tag match. I love Rico and Charlie Haas here. They were a very entertaining tag team for sadly a very short, well, maybe not short, because I remember Rico, we mentioned No Mercy 04 yesterday. I believe that Rico and Charlie Haas were actually involved in a tag match on that show. But I don't remember after Judgment Day much of Rico and Charlie Haas. I don't understand how you can get a tag team that entertaining and just not feature them so much afterwards. But very entertaining match. I give it 3.5 stars. Rico and Haas retain. Tro, your thoughts?
I thought it was good. Um, the Bashams are the Bashams are the Bashams. They were pretty good in OVW, but
Yeah.
struggling a little bit here. But that's not really their fault. They're really talented, which at least one of them.
When they first got in, they were a really good tag team in that '03 SmackDown tag division. And then
Yeah, but
once
individually they were pretty good too. I forget who it was, but Jim Cornette made one of them like made the world champion, made them the world champion. So
Yeah, okay. So in OVW, they were really good. Yeah, sure.
yeah,
Um, they never got the chance to be singles guys in WWE.
no,
Really, that's the thing. Um,
always lackeys.
and then when they joined up with JBL's cabinet, they got a good run out of that. Got a pay per view
Yeah,
match with
but
Eddie and Rey Mysterio.
do you remember their last gimmicks?
The whole ECW thing where they
Yeah,
were,
with they're the goofs under these big ass helmets.
yeah, I do remember that a little bit. Earlier tonight is recap of Cena and Dupree's brawl. Now we have the Judgment Day match card. They go through the match card. I used to love when they do this. They hype up the pay per view
Yeah.
with the pay per view theme song playing in the background. At this point, there was only like 4 matches, so it was kind of a quick match card recap. But you have Undertaker, Booker
I
T.
always
What?
I always liked it when it was a joint show.
Yeah,
So then the other shows would have to comment on what's happening on the different
from
show.
from that studio in Stanford.
Yeah, but like you'd have like when SmackDown when like they're presenting SummerSlam and SmackDown and Taz and Cole are doing the rundown for the show. They're like, "And oh boy, Cole! I mean, oh boy, Cole! Look at this! The main event is gonna be Randy Orton versus Chris
Yeah.
Benoit, the Legend Killer."
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah. Um, so you got Booker T, Undertaker, John Cena, Dupree for the United States title, Eddie Guerrero, JBL. I said there were 4. Maybe there were 3. I guess there were 3 at this point. So yeah, that's your Judgment Day match card. Now we,
What a main event! What a match card!
yeah, more to be added very soon because we're only 4 weeks away at this point. JBL vignette. He says that his people came. It's more like a video pack. It's sort of a video package type vignette. Yeah, vignette is a video package,
Oh
but
my
yeah. He says that his people came to this country legally, and Eddie's people came illegally. Again, this is very topical for what's going on right now.
He
But yeah.
he goes to Ground Zero. We're in a post 9/11 world right now, folks.
he says he says this is our chance to take this country back, and he asks everyone to join him as he looks to become WWE champion. He also mentioned that the schools are now teaching Spanish out in the South because the Spanish people can't learn our language. Like
Yeah.
JBL just being a typical heel. Somebody who acts like that. Somebody who acts like that in real life is a piece of shit. But
I don't want to press. I don't want to have to be asked to press 2 for Spanish.
oh boy. So I thought this JBL vignette was really good. What are your thoughts?
Live from in front of the Statue of Liberty here.
Yeah.
JBL. This used to symbolize freaking immigration. Now these assholes are just crossing the border illegally. I came here legally. I took an airplane.
So now we have our main event. Sponsored by wheelchairs. If you've been choke slammed off a ledge, a 20-foot ledge, if you are blaming everybody for it, you might need a wheelchair. So our main event is Eddie, just like last week, Eddie Guerrero versus the Dudley.
Big
Last week it was Devon. This week it is Bubba Ray Dudley. And if you remember my match of the night for yesterday's show, which was the last week of this Road 2, I picked Eddie Guerrero versus Devon. The Eddie versus the Dudley match. And once again, that's what we're getting here. This match got 4 stars from me. We also had Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was on commentary for this. Eddie gets the
No, he
win.
wasn't.
Yes, he was. He
Mr.
was
Angle
sitting
was.
there. Mr. Angle was on commentary for this. Yes.
God damn it,
Um,
Frank.
so Eddie gets the win after the Dudleys went for the Doomsday device, and obviously once Devon flew off, Eddie ducked under and rolled up Bubba to get the pinfall victory. Immediately after that, the Dudleys attacked Eddie Guerrero, and Rob Van Dam ran in and put a stop to that. And I love how for some reason every once in a while our last two, Mr. Trout, our last two road to somehow have some crazy connection, and we're not doing this on purpose. But Eddie Guerrero comes, excuse me, Rob Van Dam comes to Eddie Guerrero's defense. And last week, the Dudleys kicked RVD in the nuts during their attack after the motivation from Paul Heyman. Well, at one point during this attack, Eddie Guerrero picks up Devon, holds him up, and boom, Van Dam kicks him in the nuts. A little measure of revenge for last week. But here is where our last road to gets connected to this road to. Remember our last road to?
Yes.
What was it? You remember? He says yes. Give him
Yes.
10 minutes.
It was so memorable
The main
that
event was
I can never forget that there was Backlash show too.
There you go, Backlash 02. Now, who faced off for the Intercontinental title at Backlash 02?
That would be Rob Van Dam versus Eddie Guerrero.
And what was one of the main selling points of that match?
That RVD wants to take his country back. He came here legally. Why can't Eddie Guerrero?
That was not one of the main selling points of the match. What was the main selling? What was one of the selling points of the match?
It was Frog Splash versus Frog Splash.
Who did the Frog Splash better? Well, at one point, both the Dudleys are laying in the middle of the ring. Eddie Guerrero gets on top rope. Rob Van Dam gets on top rope. Both jump over the guy who they're closest to and hit their own Frog Splash on each of the Dudleys. We're not doing this on purpose, I swear. How are we connecting these road
one's
twos?
a 5-star Frog Splash, the other isn't. So
that was the main selling point of this.
I'm just saying one explains the other. If Eddie really wanted to, he could have called himself a 6-star Frog Splash.
And
but only in the Tokyo Dome could it be a 6-star.
Right. And as we mentioned, as I mentioned, at least in the Backlash review, the WWE made that the whole selling point. Who does the better Frog Splash? Just to essentially bury both of them and put one of their guys over. Lawler? Who did you see do the Frog Splash first? JR.
D'Lo.
That'd be D'Lo Brown. Yeah.
These two people are cheating.
So right after the Frog Splashes, Taz gets a microphone and he interviews Kurt Angle looking for his reaction to what just happened. Kurt Angle says someone will pay. He then makes Eddie Guerrero and Rob Van Dam versus the Dudleys for next week. And just like he said to Torrie Wilson at the start of the show, we go off the air with him saying, Mr. Angle, that is, he will get the last laugh. But without even Kurt Angle saying anything, without Mr. Angle saying anything about this, we actually go off the air right after that. Michael Cole says, he reveals that next week the Undertaker will return to action. And that is how the show goes off the air. It is kind of funny that Kurt Angle's right there. He's your GM. He's right there. He's telling you the main event for next week. He doesn't even mention that Undertaker's going to be in action, but somehow Michael Cole knows something that the GM doesn't.
As they're fading to black, Kurt's trying to grab the microphone. Wait, hold on. Tell Cole that the Undertaker's going to be in action next week.
Well, Cole's right there. Cole and Angle are right next to each other. So
Tell, Cole, tell him that, that Jacob's gonna be in action next week. And
yeah.
that I get the last laugh. Ha 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 ha.
Thoughts on your main event here? I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was the match of the night. Eddie Guerrero, Bubba Ray. Your thoughts?
I thought it was a fine match. Bubba Ray's the better of the two Dudley boys in ring. So
Character wise, he's better in a
yeah,
lot of ways. Nothing against Devon.
no,
Again, we talked about yesterday. There's nothing wrong with being the tag team guy. Devon was that, and he was damn good at it. And going back to our road to Backlash, Devon had a damn good character in that Reverend Devon, which in my opinion should have went longer, and in Devon's opinion, as he said on his podcast or his YouTube channel recently.
everybody has a podcast these days.
No, it's not. He's not a podcaster. It's a
Even
YouTube.
Maven. Actually, Maven doesn't have a podcast.
Maven's a YouTube. Even Maven has a YouTube channel.
Even me. Even Steven Richards has a YouTube channel.
Steven Richards bringing up the worst dark match of all time, around
Yeah,
2002. I know it
I
was
did.
from. I know it was from 2002 because I watched that whole video, and you can see that the camera. It's clearly like the atmosphere. The way they look with the
Yeah.
black ropes, the Smackdown fists in the background. There's black ropes. This is clearly like O2 Smackdown. But the dead
Good.
giveaway, the extremely dead giveaway, is the cameraman has a Judgment Day 2002 shirt on. So there you go. It's at least April or May 2002.
Typical Steven Richards, just bringing up old stuff and pointing out all the flaws in AEW is stuff and
He,
pissing off people.
I watched him talking about Tony Storm versus Mercedes Moné. He kind of put over AEW in that video. He mainly put over Tony
But you won't
Storm.
understand, Frank, if you don't put AEW over all the time, then you're just a WWE drone and you support them in Saudi Arabia and you support Donald Trump and you're an Adolf Hitler supporter and you're the worst person to ever live because how dare you not love AEW and Tony Khan and everything that is AEW and is perfect and John Moxley is great.
That is one thing I hate, that just because you support somebody,
You're an E-drone. You're an E-drone, Frank. How dare you not love AEW?
I don't like any company today.
People are complaining about All In being 8 hours. You should be honored to sit down and watch the best company in the world for 8 hours. If it was up to me, I would sit there for 24 hours because AEW is good petrol. AEW is the best company in the world, and so much better than WWE, who has Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu and all the other losers, and they're in bed with Saudi Arabia. I hate anything that's in Saudi Arabia. Thank you for the gas, by the way. I hate anybody. I hate anybody who's associated with Saudi Arabia. Because I support women's rights.
I cannot wait. There's at least a day or two away till Opus Clips, our free trial, runs back, and we get more whatever it is that you need to create clips, because we will absolutely clip this. I swear that will absolutely be clipped.
Tro's breakdown of AEW fans.
But before I was so rudely interrupted, I was saying that's one thing I hate, is that just because you are a fan of somebody or a company, and for that matter, that maybe supports a certain president, that all of a sudden makes you a supporter of said president. Like, that's ridiculous.
Frank, I went to WrestleMania this year, and it was required as you went in to do the Hitler salute. I'm sorry. That was just the part of the requirement. I was told you have to do the Hitler salute and everything.
I have said so many times that Hulk Hogan is my favorite performer of all time. I feel like he's the greatest
Then
performer
you're just
of
racist.
all time. That does not mean that I support Donald Trump.
Where's your white hood there, Frank? Where's your
Oh,
white
oh,
hood?
oh no, I should say Terry Bollea is a noted Trump supporter. Now, I'm not that big into politics, first of all, in any way. But
This
if I,
isn't a politics
but,
podcast.
but I definitely am not on Donald Trump's side. Let me say that. So, just because I'm a fan of Hulk Hogan who supports Donald Trump doesn't mean I agree with Terry Bollea in being a Trump supporter. I think Trump's an asshole. He said he's he's taking people out of his homes. He pardoned a bunch of criminals who attacked
So
the.
you supported Vince McMahon in the Battle of the Delineators. Oh, I didn't think you were an Umaga fan there.
He pardoned a bunch of criminals who attacked. These
They
supposed.
were just in there for a tour, Frank. They just wanted to see the Capitol building. It was closed that day. You have to understand. They
Back
took
the
the
book.
initiative. They took the initiative to see the Speaker of the House.
Back the blue. 362 days a year.
Except for when they're trying to stop you.
That's what I'm saying. 362 days a year. Back the blue, except for January 6th. Have you ever watched Michael Picard? I don't want to turn this into a political
I
discussion.
I don't want to talk about modern politics. I rather talk about old politicians who can't defend themselves.
Michael
When we can
Picard
look at
is
when we can look at stuff with hindsight 2020.
Michael Picard is freaking hilarious. That he trolls. Well, sometimes he not only trolls these uh, how do you put it? These like protesters and shit. He's even trolled politicians themselves. Like it's hilarious.
Like I have no issue with people making fun of politicians. I just think that the spectrum is so far. You can't. Oh, if you're making fun of this person, then you automatically can't make fun of this person. It's like no, comedy should be balanced, and unfortunately, more often than not, it's just well, let's just make fun of all the right wingers. Let's make fun of all the
Well,
Trump supporters.
well, Picard's pretty balanced. He does make fun of both
Yeah, that's
sides.
all for balanced instead of just
Um,
let's just make fun of this one group of people over and over and over and over and over and over and over
his
again,
his
and then
chat
get and they get surprised when they start getting pissed off about it.
his channel is called The Professional Douche. If you want to look him up, he's hilarious. It's the only time I'll ever watch anything political. He's fucking hilarious.
Well, what was your match of the night?
I've already said that. But
Okay.
my match of the night is Eddie Guerrero versus Bubba Ray Dudley. My segment of the night is the opening segment with Kurt Angle, Torrie Wilson, and Luther, where Kurt Angle blames the fans for what happened to him. Um,
Luther.
so, what is your match and segment of the night?
Oh, my match of the night's main event. Segment of the night would be my Paul Bearer coming out. But that Booker T, he slapped the dare off my dead man. He'll
With
be
an
coming
urn.
out next week to Roland.
With an urn. He slapped him with an urn.
Yeah, that ring just keeps on changing. That ring used to be much bigger.
And for
Don't question how
somehow,
I keep on having the essence of the Undertaker.
and shout out to Paul Bearer because somehow he watched he watched a full season of Buffy in like 30
Don't
minutes.
question don't question the powers of the Undertaker.
So my match of the night was the same as last week, although obviously it was a different Dudley. But my overall is actually the same as yesterday's show. I gave us an 8 out of 10. I think this show was just a little bit better, especially with the opening segment being a better segment than any of the segments that happened last week. Rico and Miss Jackie stealing Charlie Haas's trunks. That little segment was funny as hell. Like I said, the main event here Eddie versus Bubba was better than Eddie versus Devon, just by a little bit, but it was better. In terms of matches, there was a lot of one-star stinkers, if you will, with Booker T and Billy Gunn. The cruiserweight title match. The crowd just wasn't. The crowd wasn't that great. They were great during the main event, which is kind of funny that during that main event, Michael Cole felt the need to say that this crowd has been electric all night. Like,
Yay!
what show is what crowd is Michael Cole listening
Well, they
to?
all feel so bad that they've been that they're responsible for.
Yeah, that's right. And Tro, Mr. Tro, whatever you want to call yourself, you were responsible for what happened to Kurt Angle.
I was, but you know what? I will give this show a 7 out of 10
Okay, and
because of Paul Bearer.
So what would you give it without Paul Bearer?
Well, without Paul Bearer, it's a 6 out of 10.
Okay, you made it sound like you was gonna give it like a.
Well, Paul Bearer
4.
gives it that extra point.
Yeah.
You see, he's like a multiplier. You just whatever original score I was going to give, more Paul Bearer, the higher the score is going to be.
And since Paul Bearer somehow on this night watched the full season 2 of Buffy in 30 minutes, what would his review of season 2 of Buffy be?
It was great. It was amazing. I love my Buffy. Oh yes, I'm actually going to start watching Buffy, and I've also heard of this new show called Degrassi. The Next Generation. It's a Canadian sitcom, not sitcom. Oh God, no, definitely not a sitcom. It's drama.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never watched Degrassi. All I know is Drake was in there, and the girl the girl who plays Max on Ginny and Georgia was on that show. She's really good on Ginny and Georgia. So yeah,
My
she was
generation loves Degrassi for some reason.
It was a popular show back then.
All I remember from it is just the promotion. Maybe there's a shark in the water for like season 10. Because that used to play on Teen Nick like 10 times in a row.
Yeah. So, any other thoughts on this show? Okay, so possibly tomorrow we will be back for the what was it, May 2nd, I think? Well, no, May 6th, I think is the next episode.
Maybe.
Anyway, it's the first episode, first SmackDown of May in 2004. We have we have 2 SmackDowns to go up until Judgment Day. We have 3 shows overall on this road to, including the pay-per-view itself. After that, by August 1st, we will be doing a recap of the Mets month of July. What else do we have? We also, what was the show you picked for our rewrite?
Survivor Series 05.
Okay, we will rewrite Survivor Series 05. I don't know when we're going to get to that. And we still have our sports.
Daily news as.
Yeah, our sports talk show, which we'll be doing every Friday. I don't know when we're going to debut that, but it should.
We'll do it every Friday eventually.
Eventually. It should be soon. Thank you to anybody who's watched. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And we will see you possibly tomorrow. Thank you, everybody.